sides that they put together. What I like is on this part, I tried to make it look like it's bitten out of. I think it would look cool to have that look like metal. To have so that it's red on this side, it's red on this side, and it's red here because this is whole, but where it gets the bite out of it to show it in a more silvery color that would feel like you're inside the metal.
Okay.
So that's one of my patina ideas. So you know, silvery here. This is the handrail she's on, you know, holding on to. This would be the same sort of silver to sort of match what this metal would be. And then, you know, red on the panel sort of thing, red here. Yeah, and again, the sign coming out. I'm going to sort of model it on the picture that I've always used.
Now, the silver, is that actually chrome?
No.
These are stainless steel, but no, they'll use a silver nitrate.
Okay, so that gets waxed also.
Patina.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at this one right here that's sitting on the counter. That's chrome.
Yeah, that's stainless steel.
That's stainless steel. Yeah,
there's a chrome finish to it.
That's like 3.
You know, I'm asking him the question.
Oh, sorry, but this is so much more expensive.
But
it'd be easier for me to do it with one person.
But the stainless steel, this is made of stainless steel. We could polish it up but it would still have that same contrast. That's stainless steel. This is bronze, so they definitely come up with different finishes. And again, that has a smoother texture to it. So when they polish that up, that's why you're thinking it's chrome, because it looks like.
Well, I just use that as.
No, but I'm saying that makes sense because it's very smooth and it's got that chrome feel to it. This isn't going to have that feel. So I think it's probably wiser to stay with our silver nitrate patinas. Again, so it's consistent. I think I want this metal to look like this metal, and this is bronze, and it's never going to come up like stainless steel. So I'm making the stainless look like the bronze with silver patina. Does that make sense?
Does to me.
So again, like with this, you can see where with her jacket, it won't just be all one thing. There'll be a texture that comes through it, and the colors will sort of fade into. Maybe start with a slightly darker here and have it get light. I found that when it sort of helps give it subliminal motion to have that color change. But yeah.
Well, you've come a long way, Daniel.
Yeah, I really feel good about it. I mean, I haven't seen this since it was in my shop.
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
There's this always this gap where you go, did I really make that?
Yeah. No, I know.
But it's feeling good, and you guys are feeling good engineering-wise, and okay, good.
We have a good comfort level.
Yeah, these guys are great, and they think it all through.
Well, we came at it from the same presumptions, which was kind of neat, of having a couple of linemen from a collar sheet hanging on it for photo moments.
Yeah.
And so that's what really
exactly.
sets it apart. You know, everything else, wind loads, that's nothing compared to that.
Right.
Some guy jumping up on it.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
We sort of hope they do, and we sort of hope they don't. I mean, if they're loving it, they want to be interacting, that's fun, but don't break it.
Yes.
Just make that the sign that goes underneath it. Have fun.
It's kind of like, do not spin the teacups too fast.
So did you guys want to actually
inside her body is going to be rods like this, okay, that are going to sink down into it and eventually come out her hand and connect with this, which is standing here, which then connects back within. So the whole thing is tied into itself. Her hand touches this touches this pole that's inside there and goes in, and coming out the hand, it goes through her body. So it's incredibly secure and heavy.
Will we get to know when it goes in so we can watch it? Will we get to know when it gets installed?
Yes.
So we can watch it?
Oh.
We're planning for what, May 6th?
This is how they make the molds. This is where probably you can eat your lunch. It's okay. Oh, go ahead. No, sit. We're at their lunch break. I don't want to.
It's nice and quiet. That's a good thing.
I know, isn't it?
Finally.
It's time to get stuff done. So when you can see they've got underneath this blue stuff, that's silicone. That's an incredibly sensitive rubber. that will, when they paint on here, they'll take this and they'll paint it on so it gets into, I'm gonna have to pay for that. You know, every nook and cranny, it'll pick up every
We even have that on film, so you're not going to be able to deny it.
and then over top of that, so once they get the rubber on it, and now they're going to have that impression. In order to secure that, they put plaster, a shell on it. You can see here. Here's a mold. Okay, this is the plaster. Here's the rubber. So inside. So when I've done my sculpture, the first thing they did was cut it into pieces. It was absolutely horrible when they come to the studio. But that, and you can see it's. You
How
can
do
see
they cut it? With like
a saw.
big, really?
Yeah, just
Wow.
start sawing away.
Like
But
an
as you can see,
amputation.
they welded all the pieces back together. Her leg, you can see all those joints there. So this is the first step of the silicone and a plaster shell to keep the silicone in place. Okay, then we take that away. Now we've got that. Now we're going to fill that with wax. This is the wax silicone.
Who determines where the cuts are made?
They do.
Oh, they do.
We do it in combination. Actually,
I
when
see.
I'm putting the piece together, when I'm making the piece, I want to know where they think they're going to cut it
Right.
from the model,
I get
so that I don't want to have anything I don't want to have any iron where they're going to be cutting. I want to keep it foam. I want to keep it something easy to cut through so it doesn't get all jiggly when they cut.
I see.
So it's a combination, but I want to know what's going to be most convenient for them to weld it back together, where they can hide the seams the best and things like that.
I see.
So now we've now taken, now we've got the wax. So now they filled each piece, and here's the wax version of it, okay? So, and Delia, these incredible people here, when the wax comes out, well, like here, you can see, here's the wax that came out. You can see the seam along there from the rubber. So Delia and this crew here will smooth out, they'll fix the wax, they'll make it perfect, and it's a chance for me. Here's an artist here who's working on her wax. Fix any imperfections. This is your last chance before it goes to metal to do anything you want to. So now now we have the wax version of each of the pieces. And then under this, these are all waxes. What they do is they'll start back here with a very fine sand. If you could touch it, but you can feel how thin this is, of just sort of liquidy. Okay, that's the first thing. They'll dip the wax in there. Now but this is actually gonna be cement, right? And then when this hardens, so they put it in the thinnest and the finest, so that it again can get into every nook and cranny of that wax. If you go too crusty, you don't get all that detail. Wipe it on me. Yeah, good. See this, I'm ready for that.
Let me get that.
So, so they'll do that. This takes about 3 weeks of this. They'll start with the finest of them, but then after they do that,
How many times do they need to dip it to do that? They dip it in, let it dry, dip it in, let it dry.
probably 20,
Wow, okay.
because they'll start with that, then they'll move to a thicker,
How do they do that with the really heavy pieces? Do they put it on some kind of a hook?
then move to the thicker again. And so by the end, this is so now these are dry here. But so you built this casing around the wax, because you're trying to get it to sustain when we pour the metal
Got it.
into it. They also have, and I have no idea how this part works, but like some of these are, in the wax they built tunnels so that the wax, right? And I don't know how often they do the pours, but these are getting ready to be poured, right? Or maybe they have been. So here they'll heat the crap out of it, melt it down, and pour it into those vents that they've built into. So this is where this is the scary part. I never really come back. But this is where. So now they pour the metal in, and now the metal's inside this. And actually, I bet that one's done. Yeah, it looks like it is. So they're going to let
The
this.
wax goes.
So now they've made. Now inside there is bronze. They cool it for a couple days, and then they take this classic instrument,
Faster.
smash it. And when you smash it, you've got the ta-da of the bronze head and the bronze
Do you
leg.
get to do the ceremonial first?
No, I don't want it. I don't want anything to be my fault. And so now,
That must be kind of cool, hitting it like just in this form and then see what comes out.
yeah, I've
That'd be
watched
kinda
them do
neat.
it. It's really cool.
Yeah,
It is that
sounds
ta-da kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, there it is. Cut this piece here and here in order to make it manageable to fit in the slush things. And so they'll bring it back. They've got the map ready or pictures, or they actually like put a little line in it when they cut so they know how to put the map back together. And they put it back together. Same with her. They cut, I had designed it so that the jacket came off. They cut her there, and you can see the places. The reason why she's not put back together completely now is because with this one, they need to work inside to put steel infrastructure. The bronze usually holds it enough, but with the kind of dynamic cantilevering I'm doing with these pieces, they're putting steel structure. So they've left her open in order to be able to work on the internal structure of stainless steel rods. So that's where we're at now, and the final stages are going to be, we're going to finish that structure. We're going to weld this all back together, put those pieces back in that are missing.
So if you don't want them, I'll take them.
Grind it down.
How's that?
You know, at these seams, they're going to grind it to match the texture that I had. Another reason I like the rougher textures, because the seams don't show as much. When it's really smooth, you know, it's a lot more effort and therefore a lot more money because I'm using their time. So they'll do that. They'll grind it out. They'll rematch the textures on these things, and then we move over to the patina area, which we saw before, which was sort of the final touch. And
The welding is not drawn, so practically you can't. It is?
this piece connected to the steel infrastructure underneath it without welding the bronze to it. And that's why the design that Sean and those guys came up with, I thought was great, which is, again, the steel goes through her hand, out her hand, onto the bar into the inside of this steel, and then down. And so there's no electrolysis, is that what it's called? Yeah. And and he's like, yeah, they're not worried about it. They've done, you know, this place has been filled with monumental. This is big to me, but this is not the biggest that they've worked on. But yeah, no, they're very comfortable with it. And
So how many jobs do you have going on at one time here?
what's that?
How many jobs are going on at one time here?
I can't tell.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, they got a lot. Here's the paw of a lion they're working.
Here's the head right
Here's the
here.
head.
Yeah. So there's the rest of that body.
See, I was trying to figure out how you're going to incorporate this in your bronze there when I first saw it.
There was an idea I had, and I wasn't sure. Huh?
Yeah, I guess
That's my next piece.
when you guys originally thought of art on the plinths, did you imagine it being these? And this guy, who's
Like a serial
You
killer.
guys, it's just where you want to push this.
On the planner. It should be
If
centered.
you go this way, you're spending more this way. If you go this way, closer to the building, it comes in.
Exactly.
So those are the two guys. It's nice to have some
It is. I mean, that's why I thought
areas
there
to
is
play
play.
with.
Even though it's not round, it has this was where I got to play at this stage as opposed to in the placement of it. But you know, that would have been really hard when I started thinking about it. I mean, we couldn't have played that much because you had to pre-drill the holes anyway.
Well, the deal on the ground, let's say we were ready to go ground foundation hole.
Yeah, but if there's
But
posts
I
out
didn't know
there,
you were going to have.
I put in a competition for San Diego Harbor, and I made this little model of a handstand, a guy doing a handstand.
Okay.
And I won. And yeah, then I said, well, crap, now I'd never made anything this size. So I started making it, and these guys taught me how to do it because I'd been working in some smaller stuff. Yeah, and then you started learning about the engineering stuff and the electrolysis and all these other things. So it's been 10 years since I've done some bigger stuff. Fantastic.
It's cool. It outlasts you. Are you there forever? It's
amazing.
kinda-
I call him the master of grants.
Oh, good. Yeah, because she's just trying to help me. She's making it up as she's going along.
Networking is half the game.